How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of That Millwall Podcast, edition number 23 of the 2021-2022 season. Joining myself, Omer, today, we've got myself and my co-host, Micky Simpson. Hello, pal.
Hello, pal. You all right?
I nearly jumping my words there, but I think it's because, Wednesday evening, trying to get a show out, and also the high of yesterday's win as well. It's playing in the back of my mind, mate. I'm not going to lie.
No, that's it. And it was the fact that we were getting a guest on, but unfortunately, due to technical issues, it's just us now. So we will get that guest back on. So if you saw a tweet yesterday promoting it that he was coming on, unfortunately, due to technical issues, he's not coming on now. So yeah.
We're just saying we're due to technical issues anyway. So I suppose, if we're doing this for a year and a half nearly now, to come into technical issues for the first time, it's not too bad. I think we've done all right. So yeah, mate, we're going to talk obviously in this show about yesterday's win, the unexpected win. But I suppose if you look at it in a Millwall kind of way, maybe it was just expected at the right time. And also we'll talk about Saturday's game coming up against Stoke City. If you're new around here, obviously, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We appreciate any kind of interaction we get, and liking the video helps us a lot. So be sure to do that. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any podcasting site, be sure to follow us and review the podcast. Anything above 5-star, well, I say above, anything 5-star below is not acceptable, but 5-star, and tell Micky what you think about him as well. So all right, we're going to go into part one now anyway, talk about that win yesterday at Bramall Lane. And welcome to the first part of the show. Micky, mate, Sheffield United 1, Millwall 2. I think if anyone listened to our show Saturday, mate, and heard us talk about the aftermath and was in that moment, and, you're pointing at yourself, but,
Who predicted it?
In general, like, obviously, it was quite low in the dumps, so to speak, on Saturday.
Who predicted it?
You might have predicted a 2-1 win. I don't think you said 2-1. I don't know. You might have just said we might win anyway. But anyway, my point is, it's classic Millwall. You're low as anything on Saturday night. Fast forward to Tuesday evening, and you're almost bouncing off the kind of ceiling roof, ain't you, mate? It's classic Millwall. 2-1 win away at Bramall Lane. Get in there.
Absolutely, fella. You were looking at it, you're thinking it's got draw written all over it, and then as it was going further and further, you were just thinking, "Oh, I've just got a nasty feeling that against 10 men, something's going to happen, and we're going to fucking throw this away." But hey ho, as people seem to be calling him online, old Juicy Jake, he absolutely fucking buries it.
I think Juicy Jake, the term came from the, you remember the alternative comic shows that used to be around all the time?
Oh yeah.
Juicy Jake has he? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Juicy Jake is the terminology used. So obviously, I can't remember what it was for Matt Smith, but if there was a good one for him before, but Juicy Jake's the slogan he uses quite a lot, and obviously Tintin for Shane Ferguson and stuff like that, so it's quite good banter. But obviously scored the goal. I think the club socials also used Juicy Jake as well, so it's really caught on. But yeah, it's brilliant win, and obviously for Jake Cooper to score a goal like that, I mean, we'll talk more in length about it, I suppose, if we progress through the story of the game in a sense in a minute. But wow, couldn't believe it. 91st, 92nd minute. Jake Cooper's down the edge of the box, about 25 yards out, gets out his feet and sticks it in the bottom right corner. Things you never, ever predict when going to watch Millwall, but there you go, mate.
But, and also, I mean, that thing I posted on the group earlier is he's been involved in about 5 goals at Bramall Lane or games, between us and Sheffield United. So, he's got proven form, which, we didn't really think about. We didn't really look into too much, but, Jake's a solid 9-1, 10-1, between 9-1 and 12-1. If he scores on most games. So yeah, he stings the bookies when he suddenly decides to put one in. I did like old Jed's celebration. Allegedly, they were watching Superman film, weren't they, in the afternoon, and superhero film in the afternoon, and then he got dared to do it if he scored. And then he'd done it. He's probably off injured now. He's probably done his arm in and he's injured now for the next fucking 6 weeks. But yeah.
Well, spoiler alert, Jed Wallace scored. I mean, first thing, the team that was picked by Gary Rowett, mate. Obviously, not many changes from the weekend's game. Obviously, we had Bill Kowski in goal, Hutchinson, Cooper, Ballards, so the same defence. Obviously, right wing back was not Danny McNamara, it was Ryan Leonards. Left wing back was Scott Malone. So Leonard and Malone both come into the team there. Midfield pairing of Saville and Evans continued. And then we had Wallace, Ojo, and Tom Bradshaw up front. The bench was Long, Keith Bell, Smith, Pearce, Afobe, Bennett, and Billy Mitchell. Not as many changes as maybe we thought, or maybe unexpected changes. 3 changes in total there. We'll talk about the positives. Malone coming back into the side, obviously gave a penalty away as well for Sheffield United's goal. But interesting one that Evans and Saville continue, but fair play to Saville in particular. I thought he was superb yesterday, but no Billy Mitchell in there, no Keith Bells. Interesting one there. I thought kind of an hour before kickoff yesterday, Micky.
Yeah, I would have thought Clifton Vale would have been in there against United to give a hard defense, a hard midfield, a hard protection there. But I don't know. I think he wanted to go with an attacking force, and he went with it, and it proved to be a bit of success. I think if we'd have lost that, I think the pressure would have really been on Gary. But now he's got a bit of leeway in it. Do you know what I mean? He's got a good win away from home. Everyone's happy and joyful. We just need to see attacking football back at the Den now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see if McNamara was dropped yesterday or if he was injured. I'm not quite sure. I mean, if he was dropped, he was completely out of the squad as well, which was a bit of a weird one. I mean, not too sure exactly the whereabouts of that one. But I think obviously for me in particular, like going into the game, based on the last performance from Saville and Evans, I was quite surprised to see them both start. But like I said, Saville from the early get-go was kind of up and at the Sheffield United defence and was pressing from high. And I guess that's something that was maybe slightly different going into this game compared to Luton on Saturday. Obviously, I think early doors had a couple of chances. I think, I remember one where Wallace put through on goal and he's offside, but, could have been a promising move there. I think, it was kind of, we edged the start of the game and then that pure fluke happens down the right-hand side, doesn't it, Micky? Leonard down the line to Wallace. And it was almost a carbon copy from the opposite side of the pitch of Lowe's goal against us for Nottingham Forest, wasn't it? Maybe this time I say the keeper might have been able to do a bit more than what Bielkowski did for his effort, obviously, because he couldn't really get to it. But I think Olsen in goal, Sheffield United probably might be thinking, if I cover myself a bit more in glory there and kind of got my hand to it and put it tipped over. But we was due a bit of luck. And, I suppose it evens out in the sense of it. And 1-0 up after 10 minutes, mate. Great start.
Yeah, no, I think it was great because it gave the players time to just settle in and just, relax. And I think I think for once in a long time, the players didn't seem to relax. They seemed to sort of, still keep the same intensity and actually looked as if they wanted to score more.
You're almost saying they weren't trying on Saturday, I feel like. But I don't know if it was because Luton didn't give us the time and space, or whether or not the players went up for it as much. I'm not quite sure what way to pull it there. But obviously, I agree with you. Like, the first 10 minutes we were up and at them, weren't we? And it was completely different to the Saturday's game. But if you have to put yourself, try and pinpoint what that could be, what do you think that is? Like, what's the difference between Saturday's game and yesterday? Are the players obviously looking for a reaction to try and put the wrongs right, so to speak, from Saturday? Or is it we're setting up differently, or we're just trying to go more for it? Is it the nerves of playing at the Den? I'm trying to piece it together myself, to be honest, because I'm thinking ahead to Saturday's game. Got a big game coming against Stoke, but it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Away from home and at home at the Den, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's as if they're two different sets of teams, isn't it? Playing, it looks as if we've got a team that plays at home and a team that plays away, and the team that plays at home is, sort of open to mistakes, really, really easy to make mistakes, and just not relaxed and at tune with it. It's as if they're intimidated playing in their own ground.
Is it the Den? Is it the fans? Is it the nerves of it? I agree with you. Like, it's not necessarily intimidating, but it's different, isn't it? You see the performances.
Maybe they got used to playing without the. We're not used to playing, but maybe just with the noise and everything else, it's just I don't know. But then again, away would be the same, I suppose. I suppose it'd be still different. It wouldn't necessarily be as much with being called a cunt and all that as such by your own fans, but Luton, they definitely didn't look as if they were they weren't firing on all cylinders at Luton, but here they look completely different. They looked up for it.
Maybe it's to do with the crowd as well, but I mean, at home there's less patience, whereas when you're away from home, you're not going into the game expecting to win. You're going to the game hoping to nick something from the game. It's kind of different mentality there. Whereas Saturday's game at home, we're thinking, right, come on, let's do it. Let's give them a game. Instead, we're kind of like away from home, trying to edge into the game, kind of play away into it, and the mentality is a bit different. Maybe I'm not sure, but I think especially at home games, as soon as we go one down, we all see it. Like the crowd instantly changes, and the atmosphere is completely different.
Is that because the fans that go to the away games are a lot more hardcore Millwall as such? They're sort of, they get on your back if you don't look as if you're pulling your weight. As in, when you're at the Den, there's a lot. I mean, we know there's a lot of the boo boys and all that lot, and literally the slightest mistake, what you'll be given at an away game, at a home game, you've suddenly got 4,000 people on your back.
Maybe it's, like I said there, I think it could also be a mentality thing where, like I said yesterday, we weren't expecting to win. We was hoping to nick something from it. And I think, whereas on Saturday, you got fans turn up there, big game against Luton Town, a team that we've had loads of rivalries with over the years, purely because obviously what happened in the 80s. But at the same time, it's Luton. It's a bit of a London derby feel to it, despite it being, just out of London, so to speak. But I think when you go Sheffield United away, seeing Sheffield United win on Saturday against Stoke as well, who we play this weekend coming up, you're kind of thinking we'll do well to get a point here. And I think maybe the players are going into the game kind of a bit more relaxed, kind of less pressure. And I think maybe that shows. Maybe I've imagined it, but I'm pretty sure there is something in that for me, like when I'm watching the games and seeing performances. And I think that's maybe something to explain the difference there. But I guess if you're Gary Rowett, you've got to kind of say to them, look, don't be pressured about the players. And I think half these players have been here under Harris. Well, I'll say half. A few of them, the key players that are still on the side, played under a Harris team where our home form was formidable at times. Maybe they just got to kind of think about how they can bring us into play. But then that's also then you bring the tactics into discussion there. Of, is that set up there to bring fans into play? Maybe not, especially at home games. But we'll talk more about the game anyway. 1-0 up, mate. Like we said, kind of cruising away and, kind of in control of the game as well at a tough place to go. I think I wanted to name drop Bart Bielkowski for a smart save in the first half when McGoldrick's played through on goal. I think it was superb for a splitting ball. I think they said on the club Twitter and they're spot on there. McGoldrick through on goal. And I thought at first he missed it, but then I was watching on iPhone, I saw the replay. Bart gets a save, gets his hand to it and tips it away past the far post. Great save to keep us 1-0 up.
He's getting better and better with those saves. I mean, I saw something on Twitter today where I think it was Phil Clark. Hello, Phil. Who said that he was sitting near someone who was saying, last 10 minutes, 15 minutes of every game should take Bart off and put Long on. And the reason Bart's in there is because of saves like that. Because He can, as much as he can have sometimes a bit of a nightmare, it's those little glimpses, those little saves he pulls off. What seemed to be the run of norm with him. And his reaction speed is second to none. So, I would always have Bart. If Bart's available, I would always have him in goal, mate.
Agree with you there. Completely. He's a shot stopper. We had Brian King, didn't we, a few weeks ago on the show. But I think that's what I said. He reminds me of David Ford a lot with his saving. I don't know what it is, but like he's better. He's almost better than Ford at shot stopping as well. And I'll just take some credit there. I think the only thing I'll criticise Bart for is he's kicking from goal kicks. Occasionally they are quite wayward. But at the same time, Rowett wants to play out from the back, so we don't see that too much. But at times he's kicking, especially going long, is a bit flat into the sieve. And I guess that's where Long definitely has an advantage there. But you can't knock Bielkowski because the first half save he made was superb. Like I said, to keep it 1-0 up. Crucial time to keep that save as well. And like we said, we're coming towards the end of the first half and Scott Malone back in the team, fresh from injury. And he makes the most ridiculous foul. So clumsy. He's kind of, short corner. I think it's John Fleck on the ball. And he looks to get out of the way of him first. So he does that. And then as he gets out of the way and comes back, he clips him. And I feel like you told me yesterday it wasn't a penalty, or you weren't sure.
I don't think it's
so clumsy, mate.
I don't know. I mean, I saw the replay in that a couple of times, and I don't necessarily. I think it was a cheap penalty. I don't even know if he actually put pressure on. I think the kid just chipped over his toes or tripped over Malone's feet.
I think he collects him from behind. I agree with you, as in like I said, he tries to get out of the way, and then as he swings his body round, that's when he clips the back of the player, and then it's like it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. If it was anywhere else on the pitch, if it's in the midfield area, maybe it's not a foul. But I think in a penalty area where you can't go to ground, and I think he trips over Malone, but also he trips the player over in the process. And I think if it was the other way around, mate, you'd be calling that a penalty, surely, you know?
Yeah, if it was to us, of course I would. But, I just think that it is what it is. But then again, at the end of the day, the rules state, don't they, that if you do anything to impede the play or impede the player, then it's a penalty. So whether or not he tripped him, it's easy to kick someone's heels, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just 9 times out of 10 you might get away with it, but that one time you don't is the risk you take.
That's it. I mean, on the stroke of half time as well, a crucial time where we're about to see it through to go 1-0 up at half time. Billy Sharp steps up, tucks it away, 35 years old. Celebration is a bit kind of interesting in front of the away fans, isn't it? Obviously, I picked up on it and put a tweet out. He shushes the Millwall fans. He looks like he's got a bit of egg on his head now, though. If he's thinking about it this morning or this evening, sorry, because obviously we got the last kind of laugh in that game. But yeah, I mean, it's poor time to give away obviously a penalty in the first place, Micky. But part of me did think obviously Bart might have a chance to save this again. He'd saved one away at West Brom a month or so ago. But he tucks it away, fair play to him. And I'm to be honest, I'm thinking 1-1 at half time. It's only going to go one way in the second half, and that's going to be towards their cop end, and they're just going to be bombarding us the whole half. I felt like.
Yeah, I did too. As soon as Billy stood up to get that, he's one of those players that you want in a game to be decisive and put it away, and he did put it away. And that's the player he is, and you knew he was going to score it. You just knew it. But half time come. I think Gary's obviously done a good half time talk because the players come out looking as if they still wanted something out of it. And I think it come at the right time because when other teams score against us, our heads drop. But because it was so close to half time, the players were all together off the field. And I don't think they had time to drop their heads because Gary's probably into them or Adam Barrett or whatever would probably been into them, telling them what they want the second half. And they probably didn't have time to run around trying to recoup themselves. They just, recouped, break, come out and off we go again. But they looked as if they wanted something. And then obviously they went down to 10 men, didn't they?
Well, just before that, I was going to say, I don't know if you saw it, but Goldrick misses a shot, an opportunity from about a yard out. I think it's down the left-hand side or our right-hand side. Ender Stevens gets the ball in, and Goldrick's about a yard out, sliding for the ball, and he somehow managed to skies it over the goal. So a bit of lady luck on our side there, but it was coming at a time when, you mentioned the red card, they're down to 10 men, but before that, they were starting to get ahead of steam. I agree with you, though. In a weird way, if you're conceding a goal and struck at half time, at least you can go back into the dressing room and regroup and go again. And I did think the first 5 minutes we were kind of still controlling the game. Obviously, like I said, they had that opportunity at 52 minutes. Then fast forward 3 minutes later, Morgan Gibbs White, who's a loanee from Wolverhampton Wanderers, first half gets booked for a terrible foul on Cooper that for some reason he wanted to contest and for some reason before he got to the ball.
Yeah.
Second half, he dives in the box. The most blatant dive ever. And there was one in the first half where the right back, Jayden Bogle, dived in the first half. The referee didn't give anything or any simulation, but that must have been in his mind. So I imagine he might have seen it back at half time, or maybe his assistant said something to him, or maybe the manager said something to him. Rowett at half time walking down the tunnel. But 55 minutes, Gibbs White goes to grounds, no touch from Scott Malone, and the referee sends him off for a second bookable offence. Fair play to the ref. Big decision.
There's loads of stuff. Did you see the stuff going around today that the ref was allegedly a Sheffield Wednesday fan who lives in Bermondsey?
Sheffield Wednesday fan lives in Bermondsey. Tick, tick. That definitely would send an half final, wouldn't it? I mean, the chances of that. But I think it was TT that said something on Twitter earlier. Yesterday, he was like, that's the best referee we'll never get to see again because he'll never referee us ever again. No. I don't think the referee had a poor game. I'll be honest. I thought the referee was, on the money in a sense. And he was like right to book him and send him off there. I think we've just got a later arrival into the show today. Step forwards. Kai Bennett. Hello, pal.
Hello, guys. How are you? Sorry about
that. It's all good, mate. We're live. We're rolling still with it. We're up to the point where we're 1-1 and it's the 55th minute and Morgan Gibbs White to get sent off, mate. I was just saying, I thought, the referee, a lot of people saying that he's on our side a lot, and the Sheffield United fans were quite fuming about it, weren't they? But I thought, fair play to him. He made the right decision there with that dive, I thought, and it was a second bookable offence, wasn't it?
Definitely, yeah. And I thought the first one, I thought Malone's penalty, the way they gave away, I thought was harsh as well. So I think
you're in Micky's camp. I thought it was clumsy personally. If it was the other way around, you'd want it given, surely, no?
Oh, 100%, yeah. But I want the second one given as well.
I agree. I agree with Kai. I don't think he really touched him. I think if worst case he clipped his feet, but yeah, that's it. As I said, at the end of the day, if you impede a player in their area, or in your area, it's a penalty all day long. So it's technically probably within the rules. It's a penalty, but is it a bit harsh? Yeah, definitely a bit harsh, but it is what it is.
But yeah, I mean, Kai, like I said, obviously fast forward to that minute of the game. It's kind of a good timing for us, I felt like, because Sheffield United was starting to get ahead of steam. McGoldrick has that chance where he somehow skies it from about a yard out when he's sliding to get on the end of the ball. But the timing of that red card was just well in our favour, wasn't it? I felt like.
Yeah, definitely. It just sort of halted their momentum, didn't it? Because they really did build up about 10 minutes after second half. And, that was quite handy for us because, even though after they went down to 10 men, they still caused quite a few problems, actually. I thought, here we go. This is our chance to win it. Obviously, we did end up winning it, but I thought that, we were going to sort of impose our authority. But Sheffield United are a good side. And even with 10 men, you only have to look at their bench. So if they've signed, I don't know if Bruce was on the bench yesterday, but McBurney, I think they signed him for 15 million. They signed Brewster for 20. I mean, them two put together are more than probably our value of our squad, isn't it? So it shows you the depth and the quality they have in their side. So even with 10 men, they still caused the problems, and you still expect them to cause problems with against us, and they did, and they had good chances. They brought on a young boy, I don't know how you say his name. He came on for Hurahan, I think it was, and he was quality. He was very good. He had a couple of really good chances, and if he probably keeps his composure a little bit better, he probably scores. So yeah, they did play well, but as you said, it was a massive turning point in the game.
Iliman Ndiaye.
That's it.
The midfielder. Yeah, it was an interesting sub, wasn't it, at the timing of that? Obviously, about midway through the first half as well, he came on. But yeah, I mean, obviously, they wanted to change it up. Just testament to our performance, I suppose, at the time that we was in control of the game. I think he has an opportunity, didn't he, in Ndiaye's? After the red card, funny enough, he skies it, fortunately for us. Or maybe I think Bart gets his hands to it. I'm watching highlight back. Bart saves it. I was talking about Bart in the first half to Micky, Kai, but he made us some crucial saves in that game yesterday to kind of keep the scoreline as it was, so to speak. And when called upon, was proving his shot-stopping prowess is there to be seen. Yeah,
that McGoldrick save was outstanding, wasn't it? Just that little faint touch that pushed it around the post. It almost reminded me of that. I think it was, when we were in the playoff final, weren't we? I think it was Archer. He pushed. Yep. I can't remember their striker, but he pushed the strike just around the post, and it's just fingertips that have saved us. And it was exactly the same last night, but fingertip save has pushed McGoldrick's effort around the post. And if they score that, makes it 1-1 very, much earlier. They probably build up a lot more momentum going into half time, and potentially even nick one before half time. So yeah, it was a crucial save from Bart then, and then they made a couple other really good saves as well. So yeah, fair play to Bart. Fantastic as always.
Definitely. I mean, chats, I'm watching the game at home. I couldn't make it up there anyway, but it's 55th minute, gives White sent off. We're playing against 10 men. They bring on Chris Basham to play at defence as well. We don't make us up till the 75th minute. I'm sitting there after at least 10 minutes, getting to about the hour mark towards 70 minutes. I'm thinking, make a sub, Gary, please. Make a sub. Bring attacking players on to change the game a bit more. He eventually makes them in the 75th minute. Matt Smith comes on. Benik comes on. Shea Ojo is off and replaced. Is off, and so is Tom Bradshaw. I thought it was personally a bit too little too late, but end of the day, we got the 3 points in the end. But a great impact from them, and obviously Mason Bennett as well in the 83rd minute. He comes on and has an opportunity straight away, doesn't he, Kai? Where he somehow just doesn't get himself around the ball enough when Dredd Wallace has that effort on goal. But I was thinking, just make some subs, make them quickly, right? Am I just thinking that myself, or?
No, I agree. I think a couple of fresh players coming on would have been really maybe good a little bit earlier, give them a bit more time to make an impact. If you play them against 10 men, you could really afford to stretch them, and bringing on players like Mason Bennett. We'll stretch defenses because he's quick. Maybe even keeping Ojo on for the time being and playing maybe even Jed, Ojo and Bennett up top, or bring Afobe on for Ojo and play, Bennett and Afobe. Just a bit more pace. And we saw Afobe had a great chance, didn't he? He does the right thing. He puts it across the keeper. That's what you want a striker to do. You want to always go across the keeper just in case the keeper just parries it straight to an oncoming player. But just misses. Bennett's unfortunate. He doesn't. I don't know how much he knew about it. but he was so close to scoring as well. And I think then they made the difference. I mean, Bennett was, in the last minute, he won a header, didn't he? He just doesn't just show what he can do in attacking at third. He wins a header in the defensive third and relieves more pressure from the defence going into the final minute or so. So yeah, he made a big impact off the bench yesterday, Mason Bennett, and it'll be interesting to see whether Rowett gives him a start on Saturday or not. And maybe because obviously I don't think Afobe can play, can he, on Saturday because against Stoke? So
correct.
So it'd be interesting to see whether Mason Bennett gets a start or not.
Definitely agree with you there, mate. I mean, I said it there, obviously, maybe we can make subs earlier, but we've got the 3 points in there, Micky, isn't it? And that's all that matters. Should we talk about the elephant in the room? 91st minute, Jake Cooper. I mean, what's a goal?
It was a great. He took that really well, right? But it was a bit of a fluke to get to him, though, wasn't it? Really, I mean, it was. We were lucky to keep hold of the ball and then managed to just sort of pass it, and then Bradshaw just suddenly panicked and kicked it to the side, and Jake thought, I'm having
Evans
this.
Squares it to him. I mean, I don't know what Evans is thinking there. I'm watching it back, but lads, I swear to God, every time I watch a goal, it's better and better. It's Jake Cooper from 25 yards out on the edge of the D, putting his foot through it after setting himself up as well. Pinpoint precision into the far corner. Unbelievable strike. And
the ball just moves, doesn't it? It just looks as if you're watching that in real time, and it looks as if the ball is in slow motion. It just seems to pop out and then pop in, doesn't it? It just seems to drift out to the right, and then it just throws itself right into the left. It looked like Beckham's old kicks. Do you know what I mean? Where he takes a strike and he kicks it on the.
If that's any of our strikers, we're saying the second it leaves their boot, it's going in the back of the net. That's how you kind of credit that goal. You watch that strike, the second that leaves his boot, there's only going one corner, far corner. Unbelievable strike, Kai, isn't it, mate? And what a goal. Jake Cooper, wow.
Outrageous. Every time he gets the ball against Stoke on Saturday, they'll be shouting "shoo" every time because, that was outrageous. If you can do that, I've never seen Cooper hit one like that. The last defender I remember who actually probably could hit one. Do you remember Danny Shitty when he hit the bar against Blackburn?
Yeah,
that was a brilliant strike. If that goes in, that's one of the goals of the goals of the couple of years. As outrageous strike. So Cooper, that was a fantastic strike last night, and it sort of reminded me a little bit of QPR's Rob Dickey in the way that he can hit it. And it was nice to see one of our centre backs do it instead of it being done against us.
And to be fair, Cooper needed it. Because Cooper's had a bad couple of games and people were starting to get on him.
I'll forgive him for the whole season so far. He's always forgiven Jake. And if you do that again Saturday, you're my player of the season. All right? As simple as. If you score 91st minute winner at the Den in front of the Cold Lane end, you've won my player of the year award already. That's done. Job done.
Does he have to do it with his foot on Saturday or can do it with his head?
I mean, I want the carbon copy of that. I want edge of the box, 25 yards out. I mean, it's even the technique on it, lads. It's like the simple thing of get out your feet, get your head over the ball as you strike it. It is like, that's what you're taught as
It was textbook. It's textbook.
It was textbook. Literally textbook kind of procedure there. And like I said, I mean, I could ramble on about it forever. His interview afterwards with the club media was quite class. He was like, I wanted to run into the stands, but I'm on 3 bookings for the season. And I'm wary that if I get 2 more, I'm going to be suspended for a game. And yeah, he's right. But obviously, Micky said it at the start of the show, Kai, but Sheffield United's a good hunting ground for him, isn't it? Obviously, he scored for us in the last minute, didn't he? Under Harris that time to help keep us up that year. But unbelievable scenes. And fair play to the 450 fans there last night. They got their rewards for being there, didn't they?
Yeah, fantastic support from the Millwall fans that went up last night. It was brilliant. And the goal gets better and better when you watch it with the commentary. Mm-hmm. The commentary on Millwall's I Follow I've watched it about 300 times this morning with Carl Bates and Max McClellan. The way they're commentating it, they're so the way Carl holds strike like that. It's brilliant. It's just fantastic to watch, and it makes you sort of like almost feel proud. I guess it was a fantastic strike from Cooper.
We need to sound clip it and use it as a finish of the podcast.
You're making me work, mate. I mean, I've got to get this up in a couple of time.
With that, and the and if you listen to the goal, like when Cooper scores the goal from the other commentary, from the alternative commentary as well, it's hilarious, absolutely hilarious, because he's just like, what's he done, cheeky bar? It's his normal self. So all good, mate, all good.
Juicy Jake, mate, to the rescue. Hey, again, do you know what I mean? So
no, that's it. I don't know what Kai's gone. Kai's disappeared on us.
That's all right. He'll be back in a second, I'm sure. I've muted his mic for him anyway. But yeah, 3 points in the bag, and Micky, full steam ahead into Saturday's game, isn't it now? That's it. So hopefully we can do the business on Saturday. We'll talk about that in part 2 in a second. But much needed win, and Yorkshire's a good hunting ground for us, Micky. 2 wins in a row now, away from home. Barnsley and Sheffield United. That's what you need to see, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't realise as well. It was what I texted you a lot earlier was Jake's been involved in 5 goals at Sheffield and one.
Is that definitely a theme, right? 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that on a Sheffield United fan. Sheffield United fan posted it, and he said, you know, I should have realised really if I'd have done the stats before the game that Jake's been involved in 5 goals in 5 games against Sheffield United, 4 goals and 1 assist. If they are actually true, and coming from a fact that they're coming from a Sheffield, I'd say they've been fact checked. I'd say they're true, mate.
I think it is, because I think if you think about it, he scored that goal when we beat them 3-1 at the Den a couple of years back. It sort of started our season under Harris when we came 8th. He scored then. He scored one that sort of hit went over the line with a header. He sort of hit the ball, bounced down. He scored at Bramall Lane. Was it 2-3 years ago now for the equaliser? He scored last night, so that's 3. So that's probably right. Yeah, it's probably about that. And then he's probably, probably back one in that game. He's probably hit one forward, hasn't he? So yeah,
right. Scored 4 and assisted. Scored 4 and assisted with 1. So yeah, not bad game.
Not bad at all.
Really good.
Not bad for a central
defender. Be interested. I'll have to speak to a pal now who bets on Jake to score every game and just see what his odds are. If the odds were low, then obviously the bookies knew that as well. But we'll just see. If it was anything below 5-1, then the bookies obviously know that he's got a bit of I don't know if he's got a bit of an issue with Sheffield United or not. I don't
know. Well, we'll round up part 1 anyway. Kyle, you missed the start, but did Jed West mean it, or did he cross it?
Well, he'd say he would mean it. He said he meant it, wouldn't he? But I don't think he did. Definitely a cross. I mean, it was quite similar to Max Lowe, wasn't it, when he did that?
Nice.
It was. I mean, I think it was actually better than Max Lowe's because he's done it from further away. But in all credit to Jed. But 5 assists, 5 goals, 4 assists now for Jed. Not bad, is it? So it's a fantastic start to the season. And yeah, just got his name printed on the back of my shirt. So hopefully he doesn't go because I need it for the whole season. So fingers crossed.
You just give him the kiss of death there, I feel like. That's it.
That's
it. He's done now. if Jed gets injured on Saturday and he's out for the rest of the season, direct your abuse at Kai. And But yeah, we'll round up part 1 anyway now. We'll talk a bit more about Saturday's game against Stoke City coming up in part number 2. Back shortly. And welcome to the second part of the show. As mentioned, we play Stoke City on Saturday. Tough game ahead of us on Saturday, Kai. Obviously, me and Micky spoke a bit earlier on the show about the mentality of home games. Like we were speaking yesterday about yesterday's game, about how it seemed like we was more kind of relaxed going into the game, kind of keen to go out there and make an impression because you're kind of not expected to win at Bramall Lane. Whereas Saturday before, was at home against Luton, pressure's on from the Den crowd, and I think it'll be the same on Saturday, and a tricky one for the players to kind of get their heads into on Saturday.
Yeah, and I saw a few quotes from Rowett this morning that said something like, we need to sort of try and change. Maybe I think he said try out a few things at home or something. So maybe that means a change of formation, a change of shape, change of play, whatever. But maybe he's going to drop the 5 at the back at home. I don't know. To be honest, I don't mind. In all honesty, I don't mind the 5 at the back. West Brom, for example, they play 5 at the back, and they're really exciting with how they play with it. So it does show that 5 at the back can work, but you need to do the right things with it. You need to attack, in the right way and get the wing backs high. Because if you do that, it works really well. It sort of creates overload. So it can work, but I just don't think we maybe do it right and well enough at times. I think that's probably why we get bogged down. But it'd be interesting to see whether it just goes back to a plain old 4-4-2 or a 4-4-2-3-1, something like that. And tries to go Stoke that way. It'll be a tough game. They've got some quality players. I mean, the other day, I don't know whether you watched the West Brom game when they played them. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've never seen a more one-sided 1-0 game. It was brilliant. Like they were fantastic. So it's going to be a tough game, but they're not always. I think hang on a sec. I think they have done quite well on the road, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they're a good team. They lost last night to Bournemouth, so they'll be looking to put that right. So it'll be a tough game at the Den on Saturday.
Literally stole the words out of my mouth there about yesterday's game for them against Bournemouth. Any idea what formation they play as well, Kai?
I think they play 4, don't they? 5 at the back. Five at the back.
So if anyone's playing devil's advocate there about, suggesting there could be change, typically if you come against a team that plays 5, most teams play 5 against them as well. So I don't know. We'll see. And I agree with you. I mean, I'm not against the 5 at the back formation in general. I think home games, though, we just got to see more commitment, more players getting forward, more players getting there, getting past the halfway line, so to speak. And Micky, me and you bang this drum all the time, don't we? But it's just, at home, you've got to see something different, haven't we, mate?
Attacking football, mate. It's attack.
There you go.
That's it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? Gary, it's just attack. It's the same. It's the same motto what the old Bill used against the fans. So the players need to use it against the opposition, mate.
Attack. I mean, lads, we got last 5 games here. We're sitting 6th place in the form table. It's not all bad, is it, Kai?
I tell you what, all of a sudden, 3 wins out of the last 4, no draws in 4, or we haven't drawn a game in 4, and this is much better now. I know Luton game was a poor performance. We were really poor on Saturday, but I'd much prefer us to be winning 3 out of 4 than getting, say, the same amount of win, 2 draws, a win, and a loss, something like that. I know it's more points. I know it's obviously says it itself, but just by winning more games, you feel like we're doing better as a team. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the wins make you feel better. Even say we win 1 game and we draw 3, it's 4 unbeaten, but we don't get anywhere near the amount of points, just turning 2 of them into wins and losing the other one. It's much better in terms of points. Winning 3 out of 4 looks so much better than being unbeaten in 4, but drawing half of those games. Yeah. So I'm pleased. I'm really pleased with the wins. Obviously, it's a shame we lost against Luton, because if we would have beaten Luton, we could be potentially we could have been in the playoffs, couldn't we? So it's a bit of a shame, but I'm sure that the players hopefully want to put it right on Saturday and turn up to the Den and put in a much better performance than they did last weekend, because that wasn't good enough.
It's not unfeasible to think that we could be like in Stoke's position right now. They've got a really similar record to us: 6 wins, 3 draws, 4 defeats. They've not lost many, but also their goals scored and goals against: 16 goals for, 14 against. Millwall's 13 goals for, 14 against. It's going to be probably a cagey game on Saturday, Micky, but hopefully we come out on top, isn't it? That's kind of the hope you're going into the game on Saturday, mate.
Yeah, I think we'll win it. I think the momentum's there. I think the team's going to have that bounce from the win. I think I don't think they want to play at the Den again and get boos. And I don't think, you really want to lose against Stoke, because the fans will get on your back. Stoke bring a lot. So, I'd say we're going to win it. I'd love to see a nice we're due, a nice 2-0, 3-0 fucking victory. But I think we'll be all right against Stoke. I'm not over panicked, to be fair. I think positivity in the bounce. I think we'll be all right.
I mean, I agree with you. It's going to be.
I think we slagged them off too much on Saturday, fella. Do you know what I mean?
So your positivity is there, right? So you're trying to be polite and nice, but I mean, I don't know. I think after 5 minutes on Saturday, I wouldn't cross my mind to be not slagging them off again, to be honest. But we'll have to see what happens. I think it's going to be a tricky game. I think Stoke have got some tricky customers in their side. Nick Powell for me stands out, Kai. I know you mentioned Sam Surridge a couple of times to me. But Nick Powell is obviously a good player at this level, isn't he? And he's always trouble in the middle of the park. But it's some really good players in there, isn't there?
Yeah, Nick Powell is like Stoke City's Jeb Wallace.
Yeah.
If you stop Nick Powell, most of the time you stop Stoke. And I think that's probably similar to Millwall. If you stop Jed, you stop a lot of our creativity. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably a fair reflection of Stoke. I mean, they've got some good players. Let's be fair. They've got Harry Souttar at the back, who's 6'7", something like that. He's probably I think he's a bit taller than Coops. They've got obviously Surridge, as I mentioned before. They seem to be quite keen to play Jacob Brown up top. Who's been doing quite well actually recently. But they've got some good players. They've got a solid team, and most importantly, I think they're more of a unit. They haven't got a lot of key outstanding players in their side, but they all play as a team, and they work hard for each other, and I think that gets you way further in the Championship than a few stand-up players, I think. So you only have to look at Sheffield United. They've got a couple of really good stand-up players in that side, but at the moment they're not playing as a team, and they're losing football games. So same with us. I don't think we've got loads and loads of key players and star players, but what we have got we use well, and we play. Everyone works hard for each other. Everyone works hard for the shirt, and that's what we ask. So 3 points on Saturday would be lovely, and potentially into the playoffs if results go our way.
Millwall draw 1-1 on Saturday. I hate to be that person. I think Stoke and Millwall. I think you're talking about them there. Not many stand-up players, quite a unit of a team there. You're describing our side, I feel like. And for us to win on Saturday, we've got to try and show a bit of quality and obviously outfight their kind of unit that we've got as well. So it could happen. I agree with you. It'd be nice to get 3 points. It'd be nice, like Micky says, to win 2 or 3-0. My gut says it'll probably be 1-1. I mean, go on, Kai. Give me a score prediction for Saturday's game.
The thing is, I feel a bit sick because I put that on the group 2-1, didn't I, to Millwall the other day, and I only forgot to do the prediction league. So
I forgot as well, mate. Don't worry. I
feel a bit sick now. So that's.
I said 2-1 on the pod, mate. I said it's either going to be a 1-0 or it's going to be a 2-1. So I could just see him nicking it. So it is what it is. I think we'll win.
Yeah, I think we'll win too. I think we're going to go. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go with Micky's score. I'm going to go 2-0.
Bloody hell.
And I'm going to go. See, I'm positive. That's the thing. I am. I know.
I got trapped by your positivity last Thursday and ended up saying we'll win 3-1 against Luton, and that didn't happen. That was the complete opposite. So maybe me being a bit more realistic this time round, maybe that might mean we win, lads. So you can thank me later for it. You know what I mean? So I say 1-1, but when we win 2-0,
you said Bramall.
You
said Bramall Lane was going to be a 1-1 as well. So yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe me going 1-1.
Let's go 1-1 every game then. Hopefully we win 1 every game.
Now that I say it, I think every time I think it's going to be a close game, we normally edge it. So if you're listening, everyone, if you're watching this, you got me to thank when we win on Saturday anyway. So I think that's everything for me anyway, lads. Anything you two want to say before we go?
Just one thing that I forgot earlier when we had a pre-show chat. I'm recording a special tomorrow night. I think I'm on my Todd unless you're joining me. With the Fair Cop from Twitter. We're going to talk about football rights, football fans' rights, what to do and don't football if you get arrested, and bits and pieces like that. And hopefully it will become into a little series, hopefully, of talking fan issues, and we get some people on who know the ins and outs of the laws and different bits and pieces, and hopefully it can benefit some fans. So do look out for that. It will be going across our platforms, and I don't know when it will be coming out yet. It might come out Saturday, or it might come out in the week, but we'll make sure you know about it and make sure it gets promoted. So look out for that. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, and then you won't miss it when it does come out. But it'll be available on both as video and as a podcast, hopefully.
Perfect. I mean, as I said at the start of the video, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment below of what you think about what we said today. And I think that's everything from me as well. So thanks for being with us, Kai, mate. Better late than never, but thanks for coming along.
Yeah, sorry for being a bit late, but enjoyed it. Hopefully we're going to win on Saturday and take us close or into the playoffs.
And nice one, Micky, as always. Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. Cheers. See you later.
We'll be back soon. Come on, Millwall.